I'm not done yet. I put padding is 0, and I put padding should be 0. Then why did I use semicolon? That I'm not done yet. So when you put it, I put my enter key. I just felt that I don't want to do anything in that place again. I close my curly bracket. So the reason why your last word here should still have semicolon is because later you can decide that you want to add another thing. You get now. So what will be the first thing? The first thing you do, the first best way to arrange your title is to set the margin at what? 0, and set your padding at 0. Set your margin at 0 and set your padding 0. And take note, let's do recall how, if you want to put any value for your margin, what will you use to introduce the value? Full colon. If you are not done with what you are doing, what will you use to tell the programming that you are not done? Semicolon. Oh, that's good. So if you want to introduce your value, you use full colon. If you are not done what you're doing, you use semicolon. Then you close your curly bracket. So after closing the curly bracket then you'll now be defining everything one after the other. So the first thing we want to define now after the margin is our header. If you are conversant with Microsoft, you know what they call header. Our header. So header is talking about the right top here, this top right top. You know, when you are typing, the topmost part of your, when you are typing, let's say for example, when you are typing your Microsoft, this is what they call header. If you put your mic here now, do you know you cannot type here? See now, it's not header. Can you see now? So the topmost part where you cannot write is what we call header. So that's how computer is too. Normally you cannot write here. That's the way everything in computer, because for it to be unique. Also on your, that is when you buy your notebook, you cannot just write at the deepmost part of it. It doesn't really make sense. So, but if in computer in this generation, if you want to put a fine graphics at this header, you cannot type there. So you need to have a programming language to define it. So that's what we really want to do now. So let's first of all work on our header. So how, if you want to introduce header, what you do is that you write the header, then you put curly bracket. Why are we using curly bracket? Take note, when you are designing JavaScript, and you want all the things to work simultaneously, you introduce it with what? Curly bracket. So that's why when we put our header now, we open. So if you want to explain to somebody, say open header. That is the meaning of this now. I open an header with curly bracket. And the reason why I open an header with curly bracket is because everything I want to input there, I want them to work collectively. You get it now? Okay. So now I'll put my height. So if I want to put the value for my height, what will I use? I will use full colon. So I want the height of my header to be 60 pz. I want to be 60 pz. The height should be 60 pz. Well, and if you are not done yet, you will use semicolon. Then here now you will define your background. I could remember in series 1 of you are asking that what if you want to put color. So now in coding, in fact, everything is very hectic, because you know in Microsoft when you CorelDRAW, if you want to put color, you just select black. No, you must know every coding format for different colors. You must know what coding values or numbers for different color, and it's very, very simple. For example, now I put Naira 26. Naira what? 26. So it's a code. It's a coding value for shadow busted black. The coding value for shadow busted black. That the meaning is that the coding value for when you want the black to have some little reflection. Black should have some little reflection. Don't just want it to be very dark like that. You have some little reflection. So, but they are very simple. Anytime you want to put any color to your website, if you go to Google, like for example, if you go to Google, if you type, let's say, if you type code for pepper red. It's not connected, and you click it, it's going to bring this kind of number you just saw now. It's going to bring it down, and you input it to your work. Okay, so I set my padding. I have two values here. If you look at my padding now, I have two values. I set one to 0 and I set one to 50 PZ. The meaning is like, look at it. This is the meaning of that statement now. The meaning is like, one of the padding, there shouldn't be space. Is there any space between all these ones here? Or is there space between this one and this one? So that 50 PZ is for where my logo is. This is the space. So I want, because basically these days you don't really waste time to design logo. Most websites now you just see they will crest the name, like Facebook. That's what Facebook does. It's just their symbol, like this Facebook. So like you now, your name can just be ayomi.com. So that's why I will crest here like that. Will be showing as my logo. So but I don't want this one to be cliched to this padding, so I give it 50. For this one I want it to click at the top. I gave it what? 0. Okay. So I am done with that. What will be the next thing? I will close my curly bracket. I'll close my curly bracket. So the next thing now is I want to now give definition to the logo. So everything you'll be doing, you'll be working it one after the other. Look at this logo now. And this will say I want to give the size of the logo, the color of the logo, the font size. You know this one now, there's a special font size. We have different font size. We have New Time Roma, different font size in our Microsoft. We understand what I mean. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So like this is what they call font size. This thing is what we call font size. So look at them. Have different font size. How you want your write-up to look like. How you want it to look like. So we have different size. So but in computer language, the best font size is always SAR. But I will show you more clearly. Okay, so I want to define my logo. So now to introduce my logo, the JavaScript / CSS script we use is dot logo. What do I call it now? Dot logo. That is the meaning of the JavaScript we use. Dot logo. So I'm expecting someone to ask me what does that dot connote. So in programming language, basically in CSS, dot connotes access, way to access, or access method. So dot in programming language represent what? Access. Dot in programming language represent access. Like what we mean by that is like, let me show you what we mean by that. Is this picture I want to put here now, I want to give you the capacity to access anything. And this will say this capacity, this picture should have the ability to access either under the background or above. I gave you key now. Automatically you can enter anything. So if you are introducing, instead of me to introduce my logo with curly brackets, I introduce it with dots first. What I mean by that is that any picture I put here, I should be able to use this picture anyhow. I should put it if I want to put it at the top, if I want to put it below, if I want to font it, you should be able to do anything. Okay. So now this is the logo. So I say dot logo, and you know in JavaScript language, anytime you want to introduce something, irrespective of what you use to introduce it, you must start by using what? Curly bracket. That's what we say. So here now the programming language here is open logo. The programming language is open head. What of this one? The programming language here is what? Open what? Selection. Because asterisk represents selection. Open selection, open head, open logo. So the logo here now will give the logo different things. For example, the width. What should we give the width? we want to open logo right now. So dot logo curly brackets. We give the width as 30, the float as left. You know the meaning of float here is where you want to place the logo. Where you want to place the logo. So automatically when you set float as left, computer will understand that the logo you are talking about is not the major banner. You are talking about this logo. If not so, if you didn't put flow to the left, you will think this is the logo you are talking about. When we say flow to the left, you will understand now that you are talking about what you want to use as your major brand logo. And this logo now, the reason why we introduce it with dot now is that this logo, I can decide to put it inside this black background. I can decide to put it inside here. That's what I introduce that dot. It's flexible. The meaning of dot is that I say dot represents accessibility. Okay. So quickly, I gave it color. So in programming, the code for white color is error FF. So I said the code is Nera or hash FF. And remember, if you are not done with the value you are setting, what will you use? You use semicolon. After semicolon, let's define the font weight. The meaning of font weight is whether you want it to be bold. We understand all those things in Microsoft now. Like let's assume now that this one. You know in Microsoft now, this is bold now. This is bold. The meaning of bold now is it's more darker. So if you want the logo to be dark, you know, and it's good, it makes it to come out just like what I did here now. Oh, just like this one now. You know, it's bold. That's why it's more bright. It illuminates. Okay. So now let's quickly go to. So let's define text transform. That text transform is what you use for uppercase. Maybe you want to be in capital letter. You want it to be in capital letter or in small letter. The Java programming language, there is text transform. And take note, in CSS language and in JavaScript, anytime you are writing two words together, you join them. You don't leave a space. You join them together using hyphen. Look at it. Anytime the word you are writing together, maybe you want to write Abiola something now in JavaScript, you don't write Abiola and leave a space. So you write Abiola. Either you separate with hyphen or separate with underscore. You will still understand that very deeply. Okay, so the next thing is we want to give it height. We want to give it height. How tall you want the word to be like. You know, this one is taller than this. All these words, they are not just bigger, they are taller. Okay, so I put the height as 60 pz. Then we have font size. We already know what is font size now. That is the size you want the size you want the word to carry. So I put it as 30 pz. Then the last one is font family. Font family. That is the font family is what I showed you the other time. This is what we call font family. All these ones in Microsoft, they all call font family. So the best font family we use that look very unique in JavaScript is sans serif. Sans serif. That is the best font size. So I open it, then I close it back with. What will I use to close it? Curly bracket. That's good. I'll close it back with curly bracket. But if you want to close the set of programming code that you wrote with HTML, what will you use to close it? Okay, what kind of slash? Is it front slash or backslash? Okay, front slash. So now I've closed that now. So we have defined how many titles now. We have defined defined selector, we have defined header, we have defined logo. So the next thing is to define our navigation. That's why we started by introducing navigate. So this nav stands for navigation, and I already introduced to you what navigations are. These are navigations. info, about us, portfolio, service, depending on what you want to put there, picture, video. So all this one you can click to take you to another page. So navigation. So all those buttons you can click that will take you to another page. So we call navigation. So we open navigation. How do you open navigation? Using what? Curly bracket. So I'll give that navigation to style. What you see now, I say the width. We understand what is width now. And how wide it's going to look like. Set it as 68 naira. 68 naira. Take note, anytime you are selecting width, you select it. Sorry, I say naira, 68%. You select it with percentage. This one will say 30%, 68%. The reason is because maximum is 100%. So float, I say it should flow to the right. Check it, where is it now? The right. I told the logo should flow to the left. So take note of it. In these days generation, the best position in this generation, the best position to place your navigation. In this generation, the best position to place your navigation is either at the right wing or at the middle of your website. Either you place it here or you place it here. There's an error to place it this place. Okay, so let's continue. So I close it. See now, I close it. So you now open another thing. The next thing you open is what we call nav UL. Nav what? UL. Nav UL. So this is what we call, that UL is starting for link. So you see all this line below, this is your write-up. What we call UL, the link. And this will say, this one now they are representing, if I click this thing, where I want this service to take me to is what we call UL. Where I want the link, I want this service to redirect me is what we call UL, or some people call it URL. That's where I want you to link me to. So that this will say UL is talking about the website or the page I want my navigation to take me to. So I will define this line again. You see that it's a very, very hefty word. I'll define it. Now look at it. I say list style. I use list style should be known. The meaning of list style is like, how did I want the line to be? That line below my own. I wrote normal. If I didn't write normal now, the line could be in waving form, it could be in star form. All those ones, it makes your site to look too childish. When you put none, the website will just draw basic straight line direct. Okay. So after that, where did I want the line to float to the right? Why am I floating the line to the right? Because what I want the line to underline is placed where? At the right. If I didn't put right, this line will just, all this line, they will be under this logo fire. You just underline. So computer is an idiot machine. You need to do everything. When I say at the right, so all this line, when the first one comes, the second one comes, the third one. If not, so all this line, all of them will be under this logo. I didn't define it. You can just, I decide to come and underline this guy's head. So, okay, after Navi UL, the next thing is Navi UL link. Navi UL link. The meaning is like navigation website list. So now, your list, I said the next thing is the navigation URI link. The meaning is like you will not define this thing how you want it to look like. If I didn't define that list, you see all this word, as this home is here, the next thing that will come will be under the home. The portfolio will be under the about us. The service will be under portfolio. The contact will be under it. Will just, so the default list is for it to be on a straight line, to be horizontal. If you want it to be vertical, you define it. You must define it. So look at what I did now. I say display how I want that navigation, both the line and both the navigation. How I want it to be list is to list in what? In line block. In line block. I want it to list in line block. This in a, they are in a block format. I link it now in a line block. So when you take notes, the reason why you open navigation is because all the buttons you want to give them function. Why is it that what is the reason for opening navigation UL? So that those lines that will be drawn under those navigation will be well placed. Okay, why do you open navigation UL list? So that the listing will be on a straight line. So the meaning of inline block now is that put all of them in a straight line, put my home and about to put them in a straight line. Okay, so then you will close the navigation UL list. So the next thing you are going to open is nav UL list A. The A is talking about attributes. The A is talking about attribute. The A is talking about attribute. The A is talking about attribute. So I said the A is talking about attributes. So the meaning now is like, let me not define, if you look at it very vividly, this logo, I define the color, I define the size. All this one I know we didn't really give definition to it. So this attribute now simply means give characteristic to all this navigation. So look at it. So and I start with text decoration. Text decoration. I say none. The meaning of text decoration none is, if you go to some website, you will see color mixed together. Black and red can mix together. But it doesn't really make your site to be professional. So color decoration is maybe this word now to mix both black and red. If I put any color combination together, that's what we mix together. If I put none, it should just be plain. You don't want mixtures of colors. Okay, so I don't want mixtures of color. So now I put none. Color, I said the text should be which color? What is FFF? White color. So I put it as white. So the font size too, I put it as SAS series. I set the font size to be what? Bold. I set the margin is 0 and 10 pz. The meaning of 0 and 10 pz, let me show you. The meaning of 0 and 10 pz is like this word at the top, it should not have any margin, it should be close to the top, but below you should create a space. You see now, if I write, I beg your pardon, if I write 10 and 0 pz, this thing will come down, now leave space at the top. Okay, so after that I set my text transform. Remember, text transform is talking about whether it should be written in capital letter or in small letter. When I've defined all the attributes, what will I do? I will close the curly bracket. So the next thing I want to introduce is my banner. So I said dot banner, and then I open the curly bracket. I said dot banner, then I open the curly bracket. So if I write dot banner, what does it mean? If you introduce something, I'm giving this banner access. Take note, anytime you introduce something with it, I'm giving it access. That is to say, this banner, I can decide later to put it as background, I can decide to put it at the front, I can increase it, I can reduce it. That I'm giving it free access. So dot connotes accessibility. So what I put the height as what? 100%. That's why, look at it, that's why it fill all this place, because I put it as 100%. So then I put my semicolon, I close it. I put my semicolon, I close it. Then I come again, I wrote dot banner image, I open, then I give the width as 100, I give the height as 90 VH. The meaning of this banner image now simply means, see now what this is talking about, this banner height, what it's talking about is I should create a very big space. Like there should be a very big space here where I will, like, if I design that, when you start designing, you will see it. If you design like that, what will happen is that they will create a very big box here, a very, very big vacuum here, in which your picture will be. That is the meaning of that dot banner. A very big vacuum should be created here, which your picture will come and fill as the background. So, but banner image, the meaning of banner image now simply means the picture you are bringing, you don't want to bring it there and be expanding it manually. You want the picture to expand itself as it's coming to that box. You just go there and fill the box. That's the meaning of this banner dot banner image. So I put it width as 100, I put the height, blah blah. When I close it, the next thing I'm going to is dot content. So dot content. The meaning of dot content now is I want to define space for typing. Content is talking about the type work. Like this is what we call content body. This thing that is. I want to define how I want it to look like. Look at it, it's well centralized. Look at space. Find space here. Find space here. The padding is good and the margin is good. So dot content, I open it. I put the padding as what? How many percent? 5. That is 5%. That's what I put it. So this is the meaning of that 5% padding here and here. Okay. So after that padding, the next thing that I open again is dot content p. Dot content p. So the meaning of dot content p is talking about printable content. Printable content. So the meaning of printable content now is that I want to define my title. Enter here dot content p. P is standing for printable content. Type work, the write-up. I want to define how it's going to look like. Take note of this one. This one I define. This dot content is I want to define the area where I'm going to put the write-up. So this one is to define how I want the write-up to look. So font size, I say should be 18 pixels. The line height, you know the meaning of line height. So the meaning of line height is talking about spacing, space between this one and this one, space between this one and this one. You know, in Microsoft too, there's something like line space. So, but here, in programming, they don't call it line space, they call it line height. So I gave it that the space between one word to another, or the space between one line to the next line or the next paragraph should be 1.7. So I say the font size, even if I'm bringing it from Microsoft, if the font size is New Time Roman, but here I want to change this to sans serif. So I close the curly bracket. So after that one, you will define your footer. You will define what? Your footer. This is what they call footer. This thing that used to be at the bottom of your website. You know, every website must have this. All rights are reserved by social person. The whole website must have it. So this is what they call footer. Footer is talking about the leg of the website or the bottom of the website. That's what the leg or the bottom of the website. Okay, so I say the background should be hash or Nera 00. So the coding is hash 000. You remember the formal code I use is so for recap purpose, dot content is just to define the space where you are going to put your write-up. That is this space. You want to define the padding. What padding are you using or margin, blah blah blah. Now if you dot piece, you want to give attributes to your write-up. Attribute to your write-up, the font size, the line space, the size, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's why we define them. Font size 18, line height, spacing between different lines, and font family sans serif. Then you close it. So I've explained footer as well, right? So we define footer. The footer will put background. The background color should be black. So this is it. Here should be black. The this black now. Do you know there's difference between this black and this black? Do you see the difference? This one is a natural black, while this one is a reflectable black, as if it has little shade. As if it has little shade. It's not too. Look at. You see now. Okay. Close your font tab. You close the font tab, just like the way I close. When I close the font tab, that's where I will now close. Everything we have been designing now is for style. So this is what they call okay. So now I cannot close the head. You know, I've not put anything inside this website now. I'm just putting code, programming language. All these things you put down. Why they call it style is that you are defining how you want everything to be bringing to look. Just like so now, everything is just all about your style. Take note of it. So what this style does is like you are not really putting anything on the site yet. What this style will notice, you are giving basic fixed definition of how you want everything you are importing to your site, the way you want them to operate. That's what that style is. And design is specific. Just like you want to build a house, there must be drawing first. Foundation, they will draw. You meet an architect. So what you just did now is you did architectural. So in coding, this is what we call architectural introduction. You just did architectural introduction, lay the basic foundation. So I'll close the head now. So we'll now start working way body. So now we'll go to the body. You know, we understand and that after we close it, the next thing that will follow is what? Our body. So go to your body, you open header. You go to your body, you open header. Guys, you want to start putting everything down one after the other. So, but in this place now, the major kind of language you are going to use is what? We're going to use HTML plus CSS. So, but when we are defining title, we make use of what? HTML and what? JavaScript. So here we are going to be making use of basically HTML and CSS. So you will open header. After you open header, we introduce header with HTML language. You know, less than greater than is just HTML language. If you remember, we introduce our JavaScript to them with HTML language. What do we use to introduce? Star. And that star is an HTML language because we want them to work together. So that is the meaning. So I introduce my header now, and I told you what header connotes, top part of your design. So now, you know, we just gave definition of how you want your logo to look like, but you've not really defined the logo. You get now? You've not really defined the logo. So in CSS language, the way you introduce your language is called Diva. You introduce, so in CSS language, you introduce your programming by opening and closing Diva. If you want to do a hyperlink, what you do, you open a tag and close a tag. But if you want to introduce CSS language, you open Diva. So at the beginning of Diva simply means division. Or how will I put that? Selected division or selected. Okay, so this is how to write it. When you open Diva, you say class. The meaning of class in programming language, not really logo. The meaning of class in programming language, what you really, where you want to place that. Where you want to place. If I put banner here now, that is to say, I'm trying to tell computer now that what I want to bring here is banner. So I wrote Diva. Then I wrote class is equals to logo. That is to say, I've defined how I want the logo to look like now. Now I am ready to bring my logo. That is the meaning. Diva simply means, you see, in this section, what I want to do is logo. The meaning of class is what I want to do. The meaning of this simply means in this section. In this section, class simply means what I want to do. This div simply means division of section. So in this section, the class that I want to place this thing now is class 1, for example. So in this section, what I want to do is logo. So I close it. Remember how this is the code we use when we are doing our image. So I close it. I close it. So and I wrote logo here. So you see here now, if I write Ayomide, that's what we show here. You get now. I'll repeat again. Look at now. If I write anything, I write it. No, I said what I want to do is logo. So you now give the logo name. If I want to bring picture, if it's not name I want to put here, if I want to bring picture, how will I do it? How will you bring image here? How will you bring image here? What is the code to bring image first? Image search, yeah, equals to so at the center you go and generate the link for the image and bring it here. If I want to have designed a logo, that's what I'll put here. But now if I put Ayomide, it's going to be here. So I close. So I just want the name to be logo. It will be according to the defined. So the image will be this size. The picture will be this size. It's going to be this size. Okay. So after that, I've closed it. I've defined my logo now. Then I want to define my nav. This navigation. I want to tell, this navigation now. See, it's not doing anything. I want to tell the website what this navigation should do. So now I will write nav. What code is this? HTML. So I remember that there are two things that is inside that. If you notice very well, there is line here. What is this line? UL. What is all this one? Navigation. And it's two of them that I want. If, for example, if you do mistake and you click this line, it should go. If it's this word you click, it should also take you to the home page. So I will now put what I want to be inside there now. So that's why I open now and also open UL. So I will now start introducing them. So when you start introducing them, if you want to link in website, the code to link is you open a tag and you close a tag. That's what we did. Open a tag and close a tag. But this is not when we start with list. Is like you are opening a tag and you are closing a tag for list of value. These ones, they are list of value. You are opening a tag and closing a tag for list of value. So that's why I use list. I open a. We understand this code before. I put ref. Ref is equals to. Do you know why I put this naira? So any link that I've created before. Let's say, for example, I remove this one. Let's say, for example, this naira. I remove it. I type. I've created contact.html before. I put contact.html. Assume now that since I've created contact before, let's assume that I just put contact here. See now, instead of the H, then I save it. Okay, save. Which page is this? I'm working with AA. If I preview it again, if I click it, see now that it takes me to contact because I've added contact.html. But when we were working before, it wasn't doing anything. Okay, so let me remove it. I guess we still remember how to create all those contacts, all those other pages. You know how to create them now. How to create, you just go to file, to new, then you start designing your basic pattern. Okay, so you will do for the 4 navigation. For your phone navigation, you create that script for home, about us, polio, service, and contact. You create it for all of them. See, when I create for all of them, the next thing to do is I will close my nav and I will close my URL. Okay, I close it. I know I started from here, header. I know this header I have not closed it too. So that shows I'm closing 3 things. I'll close my header, I'll close my nav, I'll close my URL. That's why I have these 3. I close the URL, I close the nav, I close the header. But the next thing I'll work on now is the banner. I need to bring the picture. That's when your work will be different. That's when your work will be. Okay, so I told you how to introduce things. If it's JavaScript now, we introduce with curly bracket. So, but if it's CSS, we introduce with your diva or div. So I'm introducing with diva now. So I say the diva, the name of the class I want to bring is what? Name of the class I want to bring is banner. So immediately I do this now. I will now use the code. We remember this code now to bring image search, blah 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 blah. That's where I save it. So if you notice, I add new thing. I say author is equals to banner. The meaning of this symbol now is that in case someone is using China phone, you know some phones when you are browsing, or some people that their data is small, or they're using free mode, the image will not show. So why I put this now is like, in case somebody is using any phone that is not strong, if the image is not showing, that place should not be just empty. I don't know if you have browsed before. Okay, Facebook, sometimes you just see that place empty. If you are looking at it very well, it look as if you are seeing something at the back of that write-up that is not showing. So that's what they call, like, if the banner is not showing, the person should see a write-up. Maybe the person should see a write-up there. The place should not just be white. The person should see a write-up like banner should be here. Banner should be here, for instance, or logo or image logo. So when I put the stuff, after I put my image, what will be the next thing? Definitely I need to close my diva. So I close the diva. That's it now. So the next thing I did is I went. Now we have, how many CSS have we done now? We have done CSS. You realize we done CSS for header. That's where we put our logo. You remember? We have done CSS. We have done CSS2 for navigation. We are bringing all those values now. So the next one we did is banner now. So now after banner, we need to go and do for content. So you write diva equals to class, then content. Just the same script. Diva equals to class. Sorry, diva. This will say this division, the class, or this division, the class of thing I want to work on my content. So I close it. I know this content is just talking about the space, but if you want to work on the write-up, what the write-up is P, printable document. So when I did this now, you see now that I want to work in that space where I want to put my write-up. That is the meaning of this diva class content. So after that, then I'll go to my printable work. That is my write-up. I use P to represent my write-up. So you open P and you type everything you want. Or you go to your Microsoft, you type it there, you copy it, then you go to your app, you come to this place. For example, and you paste it. You get now. So you can type it there and paste it there. I said the diva class content equal to content is just to tell the computer that you want to start working on the space where you want to be putting your write-up. So now after that, you know, if you want to start putting your write-up, the CSS code to put your write-up, you open P and you close P. Take note, that is it. I open, this is the code. I open P and I close P. So you see, anything you now type in Microsoft, when you copy it, you bring your cursor to between open P and close P, and you now place it there. You get it? So you now place it like this. So after that, definitely you must close your P, right? So you close it with your slash. So after that, now look at the site. Definitely I've already now designed this one. I've defined this one. They have put value there. So that shows during the style is for you to Then diva is for you to put value on those definitions. I gave size for my banner. Definitely I must bring my banner. That's the function of diva. Size to give space that will be available for the banner. So now the next thing is I want to work on this. I've defined this place before that it should be black. Then anything I'm going to type here should be white, but I've not typed anything. So it's the function of diva now to type what you want to be there. So I will open diva for footer. I open diva for footer. Look at it, footer. And anytime you want to type, either in CSS or JavaScript, what will you use to type? You open P and you close P. When I open footer now, I open P and close P. I will say, all right, anything you want, you put it there. After I put it there, the next thing is to close the footer. So when you close the footer, take note, everything you are doing now is still on that body. So you must close the body. So when you close the body, that's when you now close the leg. After you put on the code, just like the way we did, the footer, you already work on the head, you work on the body, work on the footer. We're good to go. What you just do is that you go to file, you save your work, you go to file, you save your work, and when you go to file and save your work, so you go to your document or you look for your work and you preview it. This is it. Okay, so stay tuned, don't get it twisted. I hope you really enjoy the class. I wanted to just play around the code, get yourself familiarized with it. It's not really hard, just it needs concentration, the determination, and it needs attention. They need practices. So try to practice, try to do practice and practice and practice along with it.